It was the early hours of May 11, 2012, in a quiet neighborhood in Allenton, Derby, England. The stillness of the night was shattered by flames and smoke as fire engulfed a modest semi-detached house on Victory Road. Neighbors woke to the sound of screaming, the smell of burning plastic, and the sight of desperate parents outside their home, crying out for help. Inside the inferno, 6 children were trapped in their bedrooms. Their names were Duane, Jade, John, Jack, Jesse, and Jaden, ranging in age from 5 to 13. By the time firefighters pulled them from the blaze, it was too late. All 6 would perish from smoke inhalation. The nation watched in horror as the story unfolded. But what began as an unimaginable tragedy soon twisted into something even darker, a tale of manipulation, ego, and monstrous deceit. At the center of the storm stood Mick Philpott, a man with a complex and deeply troubling history. To the outside world, Mick presented himself as a devoted father of 17 children with an unconventional but functional family arrangement. He lived with his wife, Mick Philpott, and his mistress, Lisa Willis, all under one roof. Between the two women, Mick had 11 children. His household had long been a source of public fascination and tabloid fuel. He'd appeared on television programs and in newspapers, often defending his right to live off state benefits while raising such a large family. But beneath the bravado and media circus was a man obsessed with control and manipulation. Mick Philpott's past revealed a pattern of violence and coercion. In the 1970s, he was jailed for stabbing a former girlfriend multiple times when she tried to leave him. His relationships were marked by domination and emotional abuse. Lisa Willis, his mistress and the mother of 5 of his children, eventually fled the house after years of control and mistreatment. She took her children with her, leaving Mick furious, not just because she was gone, but because with her departure went a significant chunk of the benefits he depended on. This is where the true horror of the story begins. Motivated by a twisted need for revenge and a desire to regain custody of the children, and more cynically to reclaim the financial support they brought, Mick devised a plan that was as cold-blooded as it was catastrophic. He would start a fire in his own home, rescue the children dramatically, and frame Lisa Willis for the crime. In his mind, it was the perfect scheme. He'd emerge a hero, discredit his former mistress, and reclaim the children and their benefit payments. But reality did not bend to Mick's delusion. The fire spread faster than anticipated. The children, asleep upstairs, were overwhelmed by smoke. Despite the chaos and emergency response, none of them could be saved. As fire crews battled the blaze, Mick and Mick were outside, putting on a performance of grief. Mick dropped to his knees in front of news cameras, sobbing uncontrollably. He spoke at a press conference, his voice breaking as he thanked emergency services and pleaded for answers. To many, he appeared to be a broken man. But to the detectives on the case, something didn't add up. From the beginning, investigators sensed inconsistencies. The fire had been started using petrol poured through the letterbox. There were no signs of forced entry. The speed and intensity of the blaze suggested planning, not accident. More troubling were the Philpotts' own behaviors. CCTV footage showed Mick and Mick leaving the house late at night with Paul Mosley, a family friend, just before the fire. Their stories to police changed under questioning. The tears seemed rehearsed. And then came the physical evidence. Traces of petrol were found on clothing in the Philpotts' home, including on Mick's socks and Mick's trousers. Surveillance caught them joking and flirting with Mosley in police custody, their concern for the children seeming to evaporate when the cameras were off. The breakthrough came when police confronted them with the evidence. Under pressure, Mick confessed. She admitted that she, Mick, and Paul Mosley had planned the fire together. The intention, she claimed, was never to kill the children, just to create a dramatic scene that would earn Mick's sympathy, get Lisa back in trouble with the law, and allow him to regain custody of her children. But the fire spiraled out of control. The children had no chance. Her confession shattered the illusion that this was an accident or an act of vengeance by an outsider. It was, in fact, a calculated act of domestic terrorism, a parent orchestrating the deaths of his own children to serve his ego and greed. The trial that followed in 2013 gripped the nation. In the courtroom, the details of Mick Philpott's controlling behavior were laid bare. Former partners testified to years of abuse. Social workers and police painted a picture of a man obsessed with power over women and children. He referred to the women in his life as bitches and slags, demanded sex as a right, and treated the household like a harem. Mick, Mick, and Paul Mosley were all charged with 6 counts of manslaughter. Prosecutors argued that while the intention might not have been to kill, the reckless disregard for life made them responsible for the children's deaths. The jury agreed. All three were found guilty. Mick Philpott was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 15 years. Mairead and Mosley received 17-year sentences. The public reaction was one of shock and disgust. How could parents commit such an atrocity against their own flesh and blood? The case sparked a national debate on the welfare system, domestic abuse, and the role of the state in safeguarding vulnerable children. In the aftermath, a memorial garden was established in Derby to honor the 6 young lives lost. Their photos, smiling, vibrant, full of promise, stood in heartbreaking contrast to the dark legacy left by their father. The fire on Victory Road was not just the result of a deranged plan gone wrong. It was the culmination of years of unchecked abuse, narcissism, and systemic failure. Mick Philpott had fooled many, but in the end his true nature was exposed, not by a scandal or confession, but by the tragic deaths of 6 innocent children who trusted him as their protector. Their names deserve to be remembered not for how they died but for who they were: Duane, Jade, John, Jack, Jesse, and Jaden, each one robbed of their future by the man who should have kept them safe.